What are some necessary illusions in our society, and why are they necessary?
Well, the basic, let's take, for example, the whole framework of modern, international affairs. The basic framework is there's two big superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, ever since 1945. Two big superpowers. One of them is committed to freedom, democracy, human rights. It plays a defensive, it's trying to defend these values. The other one has vicious global designs. It's inherently expansionist. It's trying to conquer the world, destroy freedom, destroy democracy, and so on. And the good one, the good guys, that's us, they have to contain the bad guys, and we have to deter them and deter their global designs. And we have some problems because of the excess of tolerance and the tolerance of dissent and all these. We're kind of softies, where they're tough guys, but nevertheless, that's what we have to do. That's the doctrine. That's the doctrine that you find in top-level planning documents. In fact, I've been virtually paraphrasing them. It's the doctrine that you have in the media and scholarship and so on. We contain and deter the Russians. And the Cold War is now over because finally we contained and deterred them enough, so they're giving up, and now, democracy and peace everywhere. Well, there's, like most systems of propaganda that you can think of, there's some vague element of reality behind that. Like the Russians did play a very ugly role in their own empire and in their, but it's a small empire. It's their own internal empire and the satellites. And of course the satellites are the historic invasion route by which Russia has been attacked from the West and virtually destroyed 3 times this century. So not terribly surprising that they try to keep control over it. Outside of that, they've done virtually nothing except deter and contain the United States. So what we call Russian crimes is, say, when we decide to attack and overthrow the government of Nicaragua, and they provide it with assistance to defend itself from that attack. That's called Russian aggression, and we've got to contain them. When we invade in South Vietnam and virtually destroy it and wipe out the South Vietnamese resistance, and then expand the war to the rest of Indochina, and the Russians provide people with arms to defend themselves, that's called Russian intervention or Russian aggression. We got to stop them. In fact, there is no such event in American history as the attack against South Vietnam, although of course it took place. Just as much as the German attack against France or the Russian invasion of Afghanistan. That's a whole framework of illusion. And it's necessary because since the United States is a major terrorist state and an expansionist and aggressive power, and since the population obviously isn't going to like that, it all has to be framed in the structure of defensive actions, defense of human rights, and so on. So, say, the fact that American aid over the years has been very highly correlated with torture. That is, the more a state tortures its citizens, the more U.S. aid it gets. It's been established, particularly in Latin America, but all over the world, very good correlation. That, first of all, nobody would ever talk about it. And if they would, they would say, well, it's sort of an accident, we didn't understand, or, we made a mistake, or something like that. In the case of let's take the whole Indochina War, it went on for 30 years. There was never, except for the very outside periphery, any discussion of the fact that the United States was carrying out an aggressive attack against Indochina. It was all, the people who are called doves are the ones who said, well, the defense of South Vietnam was mistaken because maybe it cost us too much. It's kind of argument that the Nazi general staff could have given after Stalingrad. The defense of Europe from the Jews and the communists was a mistake because we're not getting away with it. But that's mainstream American opinion, including liberal opinion. Those are all necessary illusions that we have to live by. There are similar ones internally. You have to live by the illusion that the democratic system actually functions, and that the people are free to choose their own representatives and to determine what policies they'll follow and so on. That's very remote from reality because of the things we were talking about, but that's another necessary illusion.